Welcome to today's explainer, everyone. You know that absolutely incredible feeling, right? You finally got the click, your thumbnail totally worked, your title crushed it, and someone actually chose your content over the literally hundreds of other options vying for their attention. And then, poof, they leave. It's honestly one of the most frustrating problems we face as creators. So today, we're exploring the anatomy of successful videos. We're going to diagnose exactly why viewers click, but then just abandon your content. We'll be curing the 7 retention mistakes that are absolutely killing your watch time. We're going to look at your content like a living organism to figure out exactly what's going wrong.
Okay, let's dive into this. 5 seconds. Honestly, sometimes that is literally all the time you get before a viewer bails. Other times, maybe it's 15 seconds, but often they're gone before you've even finished taking a breath or explaining what the content is actually about. That's a super painful symptom we're dealing with here. Getting a click doesn't automatically mean you've won. It's really just the very first impression.
Because the very second a viewer clicks, their brain instantly and totally subconsciously asks this one precise question: is this worth my time? And they make that decision incredibly quickly. So getting the click, that's truly only half the battle. Your job isn't just to make someone click. Your job is to make them think, wow, I am so glad I clicked this. You've got to earn the watch.
So let's look at your content like a living organism, starting right at the top. The head, diagnosing mistakes 1 and 2, which are slow intros and broken promises.
Mistake number 1 is the ridiculously slow intro, and this brilliantly illustrates the problem. Consider the classic, "Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe." Yeah, by the time you finish that sentence, the viewer has already made their decision and they are long gone. There's zero urgency there. Compare that to a lightning-fast hook like, "Here are 7 reasons viewers leave and exactly how to fix them." Boom. It immediately tackles the problem and offers a clear promise. You absolutely have to start with the exact reason they clicked in the first place.
And that brings us right into mistake number 2, breaking the promise. You must deliver on the promise immediately. Like, if your title and thumbnail promise a tutorial on how to get 1,000 subscribers, but you spend the first 3 minutes rambling about your desk setup or your favorite editing software, you've just created a massive mismatch. The viewer instantly realizes, wait, this isn't what I expected, and they leave. Don't make them wait. Confirm the promise the very second they arrive.
Moving right along, let's go down into the body of our video anatomy, diagnosing mistakes 3, 4, 5, and 6, covering filler, monotony, and pacing.
All right, mistake number 3 is having way too much filler. Look, if you have 10 minutes of content but really only 6 minutes of actual value, those remaining 4 minutes of repetition and rambling stories, they're going to cause viewers to click away. So, use this really simple, ruthless test. After you write a section, ask yourself, does this teach something? Does it create curiosity? Or does it move the story forward? If a sentence doesn't do at least one of those 3 things, just cut it completely.
Now for mistake number 4, a total lack of curiosity. You don't keep watching a great movie just because it has good information, right? You watch because you desperately want to know what happens next. You need to use what we call open loops in your content. For example, saying something like, "There are 7 mistakes, but number 6 is the one I see experienced creators make all the time." See, you've just created a genuine reason for them to stick around. But a quick warning here, please don't abuse this with fake clickbait like, "You won't believe what happens to this pineapple at minute 7. It has to be genuine, narrative-driven curiosity.
Mistake number 5 is visual monotony. Imagine watching someone just talk directly to a camera for 10 minutes straight with absolutely zero visual changes. It's exhausting. Now, you don't need crazy, flashy effects every 2 seconds, but your visual changes absolutely must match your informational changes. If you start talking about analytics, show a chart. If you're comparing strategies, put them side by side. The visuals should always support and ease the consumption of the narration. That's how you prevent viewer fatigue.
So, the crucial point is understanding mistake number 6, slow pacing. Now, pacing does not just mean talking faster. You can have a very calm, methodical delivery that still holds attention perfectly. Instead, think of slow pacing as that awkward moment when a viewer feels, yeah, I already understand this, why are we still talking about it? It creates friction. You want to maximize the value per minute by removing dead space, cutting out repeated points, and getting straight to the core of the idea efficiently.
All right, let's shift over to the vitals to read the actual heartbeat of your content. The vitals, diagnosing mistake 7, which is all about the retention graph.
Mistake number 7 is ignoring your retention graph. Remember this. Your analytics aren't just abstract numbers on a screen. They are direct feedback from your audience. If you look at your graph and see a massive drop in the first 20 seconds, well, your opening is broken. But if you see a flat line, well, unlike in a hospital, in a video, a flat line is a massive success. It means viewers are totally hooked and staying right where they are. Spikes mean people rewatched a specific moment. You literally have to use this feedback to diagnose what is actually working.
Now, it's finally time for the cure, the healthy anatomy, the cure and the formula. Let's move to and see how this builds into the ultimate retention formula. This 5-step process works for almost every piece of content you will ever make. It actually starts before they even watch. First, you get the click with an irresistible title and thumbnail. Second, you immediately confirm that promise so they know they're in the exact right place. Third, you hit them with value quickly. Seriously, do not make them wait. Fourth, you weave in genuine curiosity to keep them hooked. And finally, you keep it visually engaging while constantly pushing the story forward.
To make this incredibly actionable, here is your pre-published checklist. Before you put anything out into the world, you need to ruthlessly ask yourself these things. Does the first 10 seconds genuinely make me want to continue? Did I deliver the title's promise? Are all the unnecessary, rambling sentences removed? Is there a real, genuine reason to keep watching? Do the visuals actually support the narration? Does this story continually move forward? And am I prepared to study the retention graph afterward? If you can confidently answer yes to these 7 questions, you're already thinking miles ahead of most creators.
Which brings us to the core message of our explainer today. Thumbnails and titles are essential. For sure, they earn the click. But the content itself, the pacing, the visuals, the immediate value, that is what earns the watch. And your retention graph will always tell you the truth about whether you actually delivered on that promise.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you going to keep blaming the algorithm when people leave your content? Or are you ready to actually study your retention graph, apply this anatomical framework, and truly earn your next watch? The choice is absolutely yours. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.